How to improve your credit score for a mortgage is one of the most common questions that I'm asked about mortgages when a client first reaches out to me, especially when they are struggling with their credit and looking for ways in how to improve it. Now, before we get into that, we'll talk a little bit about why credit is really important and the impact that has on your finances and your ability to get a mortgage. The first thing to think about with credit is the impact that it's going to have on your monthly costs. If you've got a low credit score, for example, you might be subject to higher interest rates than someone whose credit is clean. You might not be able to borrow as much money compared to somebody who's paying their bills on time. And you may also be required to put down a higher deposit. The reason for these things is it comes down to risk. Now, lenders are looking for the least amount of risk possible, and they feel that people who have got a history of paying their bills in time are less risky than those who don't. Now, there is the argument that I've seen it myself where people have missed the odd payment on credit cards, personal loans, but they never miss a payment on their mortgage. Lenders don't really look at that in the same way, and they'll look at it overall. If you're missing payments on one thing, some lenders will take the stance that it's likely that you will start missing payments on your mortgage. Now, with credit, your credit score can vary and the requirements vary from lender to lender as well. So if you're looking at mortgages on the high street, it's likely that they're going to want a higher credit score than someone who's more of a specialist lender. And there's lots of them out there. You've got the likes of a older more, you've got Leeds, even Leeds Building Society that are a little bit lenient when it comes to credit compared to the likes of Halifax, Nationwide, and that kind of thing. And usually they'll charge higher interest rates for it. But what I have found is these lenders are sometimes offering lower interest rates as well for their clients. But the credit score requirements will vary from lender to lender. It'll also come down to the type of checks that they're going to do. Different lenders will use different scorecards. So where one lender will, for Halifax, for example, will use Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion for doing a credit check, whereas Scottish Building Society, for example, will only look at Experian and they don't look at your score. They look at your activity. And it's just different ways in which different lenders will assess things when looking at your mortgage. There's ways to improve your credit. So if you are struggling with your credit, there's a number of ways in which you can look to improve it. Consistency would be the key thing for me, and that would be consistently paying your bills on time, bring everything up to date, and then time is the biggest healer. Usually, after a period of 6 years, things start to drop off your credit file. So, if you've had clean credit for 6 years, then typically speaking, you would be classed as having clean credit. I would also consider some quick wins. So if you're not on the electoral register, get registered. It's really quick and it's really straightforward to get done. Consistency with your name across your accounts. If you've recently been married, you've maybe changed your name in the bank for your bank accounts, but you've maybe not did it on your savings or your personal loans or your credit cards. And consistency with these kind of things, your name, your address, even your dates of birth, will all play a part in your credit. But the main thing is paying your bills on time. So credit really does play a huge part when looking for a mortgage, but it isn't the be all and end all of things, and you can still get a mortgage if you've got low credit with a lot of providers out there and some of them with decent rates. And the key things to do to improve your credit, as I say, is consistency with the monthly payments. Make sure you're paying your bills on time and get registered on the electoral register and get everything likes of your name and your address and those kind of things updated.